Hello and welcome to Dave Hill's podcasting incident with me, Dave Hill, the pride of Cleveland and beyond. I once got a bunch of free mustard samples in Merrickville, Ontario, for example. The list goes on and on. I'm here today in my living room, not to brag. Lucy's in the background. She was just making dog noises. That was pretty cool. Anyway, thank you for joining me once again for Dave Hill's podcasting. I think maybe she's whining. What else is... Lucy, please. We're podcasting. Come on. Thank you for joining me once again for Dave Hill's podcasting incident. Arguably one of the most incredible podcasts of our time, if I do say so myself. What an incredible... Today's episode, if I had to get into it, and I will, it's me and Chris Gersbeck, my partner in crime, sort of catching up on things. But first, we got to get into some more important matters. For example, listener mail. If you would like to send a question to me, Dave Hill, mentioned earlier, send it to dave@davehillonline.com, and I'll answer the F out of it. We have a few questions today, and when I say a few, I mean I've selected 2 incredible questions to answer. The first question comes all the way, for speaking of Canada, all the way from Montreal. Micah Armada writes, "Hi Dave, if you had to guess, what kind of hobbies and job would Lucy have if she were human?" Gosh, that's a good question. Hobbies? I think she would be into mid-century modern furniture, collecting and scratching the fuck out of it. I don't really have any of that stuff myself, but I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. I think she would like a nice throw pillow. In fact, I know she does. Maybe she would bake stuff, like bake stuff that has bacon in it. I think she'd be into that. As far as a job, definitely accounts payable or accounts receivable. That's her skill set. Or maybe she would be like into extreme sports. Can you get paid for farting? That's her main skill set, as best I can tell. Chasing balls, farting, eating, licking my face. Those are her 4 areas of interest, as best I can tell. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you, Micah Armada of Montreal. Moving on. The next question. Hey Dave, what did you think about The Dirt on Netflix? And what is your favorite Motley Crue song? Also, what's better, Scooby Snacks or Flintstones Vitamins? Regards, Michael Lawless, who hates the law so damn much, it's in my name, damn it. That's really good. Is that your Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit name? That sounds like... It sounds like it would be. I can't even remember. With all the medications I'm on, I'm living minute to minute. Anyway, Michael, to answer your question, what did I think about The Dirt on Netflix? I did watch it. I enjoyed it. I know some people thought, it was bad, but, I'm not asking much from a movie. Entertain me a little bit. Make me, keep me busy for an hour and a half, and I feel like it did that. I feel like I was pretty well versed in the Motley Crue story, so there's no curveballs in it for me, like where I was like, I didn't know about that. But I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing that enraged me is that in the early scenes when the band's like practicing and stuff, when they're just getting together, the Mick Mars character is playing, because in the early days, as anyone knows, in the early days of Motley Crue, he played a black Gibson Les Paul Custom. In the movie The Dirt, they had him playing a black Epiphone Les Paul with the Epiphone logo covered up, but everyone knows from the shape of the headstock that it's an Epiphone and not a Gibson. Duh. Also, how hard could it have been to just get a frickin' black Gibson Les Paul custom? What, you don't want to spend the extra $50 in the prop department? I don't know. I just thought that was bullshit. And not to brag, but I did tweet about it. Got quite a response. A lot of people chiming in. A lot of people also pointing out that the BC Rich bass that Nikki Sixx was playing in that same scene was historically inaccurate. Wasn't as familiar with that, so I can't comment on that, but I don't doubt it, given the fact that they just had Mick Mars playing a fucking Epiphone. I mean, come on. So that was one thing that upset me. Also, in the early scene when they go to a party and Vince Neil is playing in a cover band and he's singing My Kind of Lover, at the party, and they're like, come on, man, get out of that band and join Motley Crue. We're going to be really popular. The thing is, My Kind of Lover by Billy Squier so Motley Crue formed in 1981, right? My Kind of Lover by Billy Squier was not released until November of 1981. So it's plausible that Vince Neil was in a cover band that played it at a party and everyone was freaking out in the last 2 months of 1981. But I doubt it. Alright, those are my gripes. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Pretty good movie. I mean, did it suck in many ways? Yeah, it's not Citizen Kane, but come on. You know, we don't need sometimes you have a bag of Doritos and you enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? It's like I watched Lords of Chaos about, Norwegian black metal and all that, and I read the book like 20 years ago, and it's pretty much like, well, yeah, that's what it said it happened in the book. So there's no curveballs in that either. But I was like, yeah, that's good. I don't know. I had nothing going on today. Watch that. Okay, the second half of your question. Also, what's better, Scooby Snacks or Flintstones? Growing up, I was aware of these vitamins, but we didn't have them in the house. But I think I sneaked some at a friend's house, and as I recall, they just taste the same, right? It's like basically the same shit, just different shapes. I'm gonna go Flintstones vitamins because I prefer the Flintstones cartoon over Scooby-Doo. That's just me. So yeah, Flintstones vitamins for the win. I want to go back and answer Micah Armada's question again. I think Lucy, you can get paid for sleep studies. I think Lucy probably would have done that. Or maybe she would have been a competitive eater. She's such a sweet sweetie. She's lying next to me right now and she's like, Dave, could you stop podcasting? Alright, let's keep moving. I want to thank everyone supporting us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Dave Hill. Also, as mentioned, there's a new podcast on the streets called Dave Hill History Fluffer that I do with my friends Jim Biederman, Jody Lennon, and of course the brains behind the operation, Chris Gersbeck. We've just unleashed a few episodes. It's an incredible podcast in which I discuss my roles in various points in history and great cultural moments, many of which happened before I was born, but don't let that factor into things. And we've been recording shows live at QED Astoria. In fact, we're doing one April 10th. If you're around, come on out. And I would really appreciate it if you went and subscribed on the internet, on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever, and rate and review the shit out of it. Please. And also, it's also the best podcast. I mean, this podcast is also the best, but that one's like seriously the best. So there you go. I wanted to say that. What else did I want to tell you? I guess that's it for now. Stay street, stay hydrated, get tested as always. But let's get into it, sisters. We got a new convo here for you. This is, I'm going behind the scenes, pulling back the curtain and hanging out with the brains behind the operation, Chris Gersbeck. We like to catch up every few episodes, and we did just that. Yesterday he came over, and it went a little something like this. We're podcasting, Chris.
Yep. You got a new fridge?
I got a new fridge. Not to brag. Lucy, we're podcasting. Let me be clear. I know a lot of people will naturally assume that I took the Patreon money and used it to buy a new fridge. That could not be further from the truth.
That didn't even occur to me.
No, it didn't. I didn't buy the fridge. Let's be clear.
That's pretty nice of your landlord to buy a new fridge.
Well, yeah, we needed it.
Yeah.
I mean, Lucy, she was really struggling with the old one. Yeah, just to be clear, I don't want anyone thinking, that it's Lamborghinis and new fridges with the Patreon money. That we still really need.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're in deep trouble. I'll be turning tricks.
The repossession men will be here
To get the fridge.
Take the fridge.
Take the dog. All of it.
The dog.
Can you imagine if they repossessed Lucy?
Did they do that?
Repossess dogs?
Yeah.
I imagine if you had like a fancy dog. I mean, Lucy's fancy in her own way.
They did that on The Simpsons, but
They took Santa's little helper?
he gets another dog. A nicer dog.
Oh, yeah, like a fancy dog.
Yeah.
But then they realize they want
Actually, no, you're right.
helper.
They take Santa's little helper.
Oh, man.
And they leave the fancy one.
That's the saddest story ever told.
Classic episode.
But where this is a catch-up episode, as we like to call it in the industry. Lucy's not crazy about these episodes.
No.
You'll edit this so it's tighter once I'm less distracted by the dog.
Be a little tighter.
Be a little tighter. Go get it, Lou.
Sometimes like last week, we didn't get the episode done until Thursday. And then I had to edit it on my way home from work that night at like midnight.
On the train?
On the train,
Holy
yeah.
shit. Hang on, I gotta get this. Wait,
Yeah.
so you edited the podcast on the train?
On the train on the way home, yeah.
That's commitment.
Yeah, it's actually fun because my commute is really long and boring. So, and I usually get a seat because it's I take the train from Ditmars, which is the last stop in Astoria. So,
Oh, so you get the sweet treatment.
the little booth in the end.
The booth.
Not booth, but you know that little two-seater at the end of the train
Oh, yeah.
that most people tell you not to sit in because that's where
That's the murder seat.
the murders.
Isn't it?
I've always heard just don't sit there because that's where most homeless people sit. So
Oh,
it's, like,
really?
dirtier, I guess. But I mean, it's the subway; it's all dirty.
Yeah, they're not, it's all, I just trust in my immune system.
Yeah.
I got, we can give a little plug to this. I was contacted by what I believe to be the front man of a band called 100,000 Leagues Under My Nutsack. And
Wow, that's an amazing band name.
he confidently said, he has to send me this album, and that I won't believe it, and people will lose their minds, and that he wants to fly in and be a guest on the podcast.
Have you listened to it yet?
No, but I will.
Yeah.
But song titles include Humans for Sale, My Balls Are in Your... Let's stickers covering this. Girlfriend's... moving the sticker. Girlfriend's mouth. Okay.
It's like the Velvet Underground banana.
Yeah. Nutsack Religious. Everyone here is going to die. those are some of the song titles. So anyway, that's just a little preview.
Is it a metal band? It's gotta be.
I can only assume, or something, countercultural.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like a...
People send you a lot of stuff, right? Music?
Yeah, people send me a lot of things.
Do you listen to it all?
None of it. No. I try to, yeah, but it's easy, it's hard to listen. I try to, because a lot of times I'm pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually been turned on to things by people sending me stuff. For example, probably the best example of that is Mike Adams at His Honest Weight.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that band?
Mm-mm.
They have a hot sound. Let's play one of their songs now.
All right.
See? They're great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. That was I'm Worried by Mike Adams at His Honest Weight. I'm assuming he'll be okay with me. Just
Should be.
throwing that into the hopper. And they're a great band. But Mike Adams himself, tweeted at me on the internet and was like, we're playing in town. And they're playing in Brooklyn. And they're like, do you want to come out and play with us on a couple songs?
Oh, nice.
And I was like, maybe. I don't know. And then but I was like, statistically speaking, if someone sends you their music, most music is 99% of it. You're going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
turn that off.
Yeah.
So I just assumed that I would be like, oh, turn that off. But I turned it on. He tweeted it at me, a link, and I went and I was like, whoa, this is great. Became an instant fan. I ended up not being able to come to the show. But I've actually never been here when they played in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Or never been able to go. But I did do a show with them in Indiana. And I hope to do a show with them again at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, another band, a guy wrote to me. He has a band called Fog Machine, and I think it's on Bandcamp. And he wrote
Isn't that the name of your band's latest album?
My band Valley Lodge's album is called Fog Machine, yes.
Did you name the band after that?
No, but he was like, here's a funny coincidence. And I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
So, all by way of saying,
Keep sending you stuff.
keep sending stuff. And who knows, maybe 100,000 Leagues Under My Nutsack is going to be my new favorite band. The thing is with this band, I know the guy, Rob, who made this. The title, the album is called Nutsack Religious.
You're good about that, like responding to fans' emails, though.
I try to write back to emails.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wrote to me, and but I remember I knew him in Cleveland from being at shows and things, and he, for years, would always put 100,000 Leagues Under My Nutsack stickers, like all over town.
Oh yeah.
They were everywhere. Like you couldn't go into a venue in Cleveland
like
that did
Shinobi
not.
Ninja here.
Yeah,
I've never even heard that band, but you just see that sticker everywhere.
Do people still do? Is that like a thing now? Still?
I think so. Yeah.
I gotta get some stickers.
Yeah. Let's get some podcasting incident stickers.
I know we do because we owe some on the Patreon, don't we?
We do. Yeah.
We do. We better get on it. We got to get those stickers.
I think we only a few though, because
maybe we should make them by hand then. Special.
Let's get like a stamp.
Just I'll draw it on sticker material.
Let's do
or
that.
draw over another sticker.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Hand drawn. I remember once, like years ago, like at the dawn of the internet, whenever that one. When was that?
95.
Later than that. But I was learning. I was in Cleveland, and I was learning how to do like Photoshop and stuff, graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a book called Down on the Farm, Barnyard Animals of Note. And it was just like a book about farm animals and just my opinions on them. All very positive.
I really want to read this.
It's a strong book, but then a friend of mine was writing for like, you know, that newspaper insert magazine, like Parade.
Uh-huh.
She was writing stuff for that, and somehow she was like, I could write about your book if it's available.
Whoa.
So I was like, okay. And I can't remember how my contact information was in there. But basically, so the book didn't exist. It existed on like a disc or whatever it was, the storage thing at the time, a zip drive. And so then I started getting all these orders for this book that didn't physically exist.
Wow.
So I was just like, I'll just go to Kinko's and I'll make them. I got like heavy, I printed out all the pages on like color paper, and you know, and then I got like heavy stock cardboard or something, and I glued the pages onto these heavy stock pages. Mm-hmm. And then I took it to Kinko's and had them like put spiral binding.
Yeah.
And then sent it to these. And I didn't charge a lot for the book.
Yeah.
I wasn't even making a profit by the time I was done. But whatever I was charging, people sent it back and were like, what the fuck? This is like a handmade book. They were just like horrified that they weren't getting, and understandably so, but I was just a young buck.
How old were you?
I would have been like in my 20s. So.
Do you have any copies of it here?
I do. Let me see. Hang on. This is the actual book. People received this in the mail from me.
Wow.
I physically, aside from the binding, and I was just learning like Photoshop and Illustrator and all that, and that's what I learned. I made that in school.
Okay, I think we have to make multiple copies. We have to reissue this.
Do you want me to read some passages?
Yes, please.
So, this is the book. All by way of saying, like, having made this book by hand and then sending it to people, at least half of whom were enraged at what they received. Some people wrote, like, demanding refunds and sent the book back and, like, were just, like, really not happy about it. And even though I maintain that it's an attractive book and it's good. So the book again is called Down on the Farm, Barnyard Animals of Note, right? On the cover is a calf, I believe, right? That's a calf, right?
Yeah.
And it's by David Hill.
And
I don't know why I said David as opposed to David.
The pictures, just like, how did you put them on? Like glue stick?
Yeah, I think glue stick.
Yeah.
Or I sprayed, I don't know. And then on the inside there's like a pig, and he looks pretty cool. And the intro is, "Hello and welcome to the farm!" ! My name is David, and in the pages that follow, we will take a revealing look into the exciting world of barnyard animals! Together, we will visit with some of my personal favorites, as well as the old standbys, and even get to know a few wily beasts that have rubbed me the wrong way in the past. Though big spending corporations will try and convince you with their fancy TV offers that real animal excitement can only be experienced through their slick jungle and aquatic life videotapes, I'm sure I'll have you agreeing in no time that the genuine article is just a few highway exits away from your front door on a nearby farm. Oh, and watch out, some of these creatures like to bite. Signed, David Hill. I think I called myself David Hill because the instructor called me that for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, I better stick with what he calls me. Okay, do you want me to keep reading?
Yeah, go for it.
On the first page is the cow, and there's a picture of a full-grown cow and another full-grown cow in the background. The cow, considered by some to be the definitive farm animal, the cow has always been on my list of personal favorites. In addition to having multiple stomachs, these bovine beauties give us milk, juicy steaks, and something fun to look at on long car trips. If you haven't already, why not go out and experience a cow today? Go on, get a move on. That's the cow.
And that's the point where everyone's like, what did I pay for?
Yeah, and let me be clear. I'm technically a grown man when I've written and produced this book. Do you want me to read another entry?
Yeah.
From, again, if you're just tuning in, these are excerpts from Down on the Farm, Barnyard Animals of Note, by me, Dave Hill.
We absolutely have to reproduce this book.
The pig. Seen here engaging in exactly the kind... So the pig, they're kind of like... they're all... I guess they're feeding or something. They're all trying to get in there and feed. You can see. The pig. Seen here engaging in exactly the kind of activity that has earned them their sloppy reputation. Pigs are, ironically, one of the only farm animals to cross over to house pet status. Additionally, pigs are responsible for such culinary treats as bacon, ham, and sausage, and have even made their way to the silver screen and such box office smashes as Babe and Charlotte's Web. I ask you, is there anything these little guys can't do? So that's the pig.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear another entry?
Yeah, just keep going. Should be the whole episode.
The next picture, on the next page, to be clear, just so the listener can picture, there's 2 animals entries per page.
Mm-hmm.
Next, there's sheep, but to be clear, there is a picture of a lamb, and there's a lamb and a sheep together. Who are these fluffy little guys, you ask? Why, they're sheep, of course, though they seem to become oddly motionless whenever I'm around. Sheep are also a favorite of mine. If you've ever owned a luxurious sweater that required a delicate cleaning treatment, you probably have one of these fellas to thank. Sheep are so cool, they even have a dog named after them. Not bad, if you ask me.
So your friend in Parade put this as a book?
For sale, as if it were like a hardcover book available, like a fully published thing.
But these people ordered it. Like, they knew what the name of the book was.
There was a photo of it, of the cover, but it didn't say this is a shitty book made by hand by a grown man living with his parents in Cleveland. Did not say that anywhere in the description.
How many copies did he sell?
I would say 40 something.
Wow.
The next entry, if you want to hear it, you can cut me off at any point. Okay, the next there's a rooster, and as you can see, there's a rooster on a fence. Made popular by cartoon character Foghorn Leghorn and through numerous appearances on boxes of cornflakes, the rooster, or cock as he is known in betting circles, is the official alarm clock of the barnyard, waking up pretty much everyone within earshot at the crack of dawn with his resounding cock-a-doodle-doo. Whether you're a farmer with early morning chores to rise for, or just feeling lucky in Tijuana, you'll be glad to have this feathery friend on your side. Once again, man. These are excerpts from Down on the Farm, Barnyard Animals of Note.
Was your family aware of this while you were living with them?
I honestly do not think they had any idea that what was going on. I was living at the time. My sister Miriam, my oldest sister, who now lives in Australia, I think she may have been aware of it. But nobody else would have known. And for good reason. The next entry is the goat. When I was a youngster, a friend of mine had a pet goat that would chase us around the yard for hours in hopes of goring one of us with his pointy little horns. Thus, it comes as no surprise that these clove-footed wonders top my list of all-time favorite animals, farm animals. Though historically assumed to be tin-can-eating minions of Satan, goats are actually amiable little creatures who want little more out of life than to chew a little grass, butt heads with their goat buddies, and provide us with some surprisingly tasty cheese. I feel, I honestly have not read this book in a long time. And I think it stands up.
Yeah, it's informative.
There's other animals. What other animals, you ask? The horse, the donkey, the turkey. Another entry on the goat.
Yeah, my mom used to work in an office that did binding like that. So my brother, when we were growing up, he was a writer. He still is, but he would write like short stories and stuff, and then my mom would like bind them. He would sell them for like $5 or whatever. His big one was called Electro Cop.
Oh, wow.
And I think he tried to make a choose your own adventure style book, but the pages got all mixed up. So it'd be like turn to page 64 if you want to keep hiking up the mountain, and then you go to page 64 and it just wouldn't make any sense. Just come in mid-story. It's a lot of work to put together one of those things.
Yeah, so I did this 20 years ago. Oh, and apparently I was boasting about a follow-up title called Trouble for Me, Trouble for You, Our Backyard Visitors. And there's the cover is a raccoon. So, gosh.
Did you thank anyone at the end?
No, there is an author biography.
What does that read?
David Hill is a saucy young man who was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. He has a penchant for profanity and a complete disregard for the warning labels on prescription medications, but nonetheless is adored by small children and senior citizens alike. Despite his advancing age, he still finds it amusing to finish other people's sentences for them by saying the words, "in my pants," at the end. He has plenty of sporty outfits, but never really gets the hair right. This all checks out today.
Yeah. It's still relevant.
It's amazing.
That should be the bio on your book, your new
my
book.
new book. We should plug the book. It's officially up for pre-order, my new book.
Parking the Moose.
Parking the Moose. Wait, let me see what the full title is. Dave, come on. What is it called? Parking the Moose, one American's epic quest to uncover his incredible Canadian roots.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out October 8th, 2019.
Yeah, you've been going to Canada a lot to write this, too.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
For like 2 years now. It's crazy. But, Penguin Random House is publishing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thickest book I've ever written. I was going to say ever read, but that's not true. Written.
And that'll be
It's all very exciting.
Be out in October.
Like a mofo. October 8th. And then a full... actually, not really a full world tour. I'm going to do a lot of Canadian outreach.
Mm-hmm.
So, very excited about that.
Yeah.
Lots of Canada coming fast and hard. Do you know when you... For example, if you were to go on Amazon where you can pre-order my book, Parking the Moose.
You can already pre-order it. Huh?
You can pre-order it. I think it's out in September in the UK. I was alerted by Stephen Radford from Manchester that the publishing date in the UK is like a couple weeks earlier. So if you're really a diehard, that's where you get it. But if you search Parking the Moose on Amazon, my book comes up, but so does a book called A Wild Ride by Willow Summers that features what appears to be a naked couple. No, a topless couple.
Mm-hmm.
With forever on the line, Jessica wants nothing more than to settle down, finally, and continue on with her life. The only problem is that since she's moved to Texas, she has been fraught with problems. Despite a narrow miss when her home gets broken into, this time it isn't her that's in danger. When William has a tragic bull riding accent, it says, not accident. It is up. What's a tragic bull riding accent? You just start talking like a bull rider? It is up to Jessica to play hero. Alongside Jessica's personal problems, her friend Lump is also trying to find her way. I would, if I were named Lump, I would start by changing my name. One bad, violent date after another, and she is left broken and spent. One bad, violent date after another. I'm starting to think the problem is Jessica here. I mean, never blame the victim, but come on. One bad, violent date after another? She's making poor choices.
But that's...
The violence is not her fault, but I'm saying, like...
But Lump is the one who's been on one violent date?
The one...
Jessica.
Well, the one man that is perfect for her is out of reach. I'm not sure who... I guess that's the shirtless guy on the cover.
Why does this show up when you search for your book?
When you search my book, Parking the Moose, that's the second title. there's another moose-based book, Mudgy and Millie. I don't know why I'm promoting the other moose, other things that come up. I should only be promoting my book, Parking the Moose.
Yeah.
Which is available for pre-order now, wherever incredible books are sold. But now that I've gone back and read Down on the Farm, Barnyard Animals of Note, I think I don't know which is better.
Yeah, maybe you should put that out as a companion piece.
Maybe I'll show that to my agent. Maybe we can publish them under like a pseudonym.
Yeah, kids may love it.
I just start making all that money.
3-year-old niece, I think, would love that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Would she get the sophistication?
I think so, yeah.
I think it fires on all cylinders,
Yeah.
though. Like, you can be a sophisticate or you can be a 3-year-old, and either way, you're going to love Down on the Farm, Barnyard Animals of Note. And if you love that, wait till you get a hold of Trouble for Me, Trouble for You, Our Backyard Visitors. That. I don't think I ever got around to writing that, but I believe that the plan was for that to be, the antics of squirrels, chipmunks, raccoons, skunks possums, maybe coyotes. We haven't promoted the new podcast yet.
Yeah, I was just going to say, maybe we should talk about
Let's get that. Let's get some chatter going on that.
History Fluffer.
History, yeah.
Which was going by a different title for a few months.
Well, I explained it on the last episode.
Yeah.
That we were calling the show Interest of Full Disclosure. Jim Biederman and I, Jim, co-host of Dave Hill History Fluffer, we did a pilot for TBS called You Had to Be There.
Mm-hmm.
It is not going to move forward, but we...
I saw it. He showed me some of it. It's very good.
Yeah, we shot it in Australia last year. It was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
We hung out in Australia. So then we were like, somehow I think he was from that, the name, that's how the show we've been doing at QED came about. You Had to Be There. And then we started releasing it as a podcast like a week ago.
Yeah.
And then I searched for it. And the only thing I could chalk this up to is either my visual memory or just bad memory. Because in searching for it, pulled up, of course, Nikki Glazer and Sarah Schaefer's podcast.
Also called
You Had to Be There, which they stopped doing a handful of years ago. But it's worth noting, not only was I a guest on that podcast, but they used a Valley Lodge song as the theme song. So you would think that I would have
had some memory.
Remembered that.
See, the thing is, in planning the podcast launch and everything, I noticed that podcast, and I noticed that you had written the theme song that it had the same title, and I was like, well, I know you knew the two of them, so I was like, well, he must have. You would think cleared this.
You probably thought that this had, crossed my mind of what was actually happening.
And for whatever reason, it took us forever to actually show up on iTunes. So I was searching for You Had to Be There for a couple weeks.
Weeks and weeks.
Yeah. But anyway, I think the new title's better, honestly.
It really is. I mean, yeah. So I mean, we didn't want to keep the title, obviously, for confusion and out of respect, of course, for Nikki and Sarah.
Have they sent you? Have you?
Their lawyers got in touch. No. I just saw it and I was like, oh yeah. When I saw the logo for their show, I was like, yeah, I totally know that logo. It's the two of them and it's red, but the words involved did not. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. And so we very quickly pulled an emergency meeting, an emergency text message thread, and figured out the new title, History Fluffer. And now this podcast is out, and for those of you we did preview it a couple of weeks ago on this Dave Hill's podcasting incident, still under the name You Had to Be There. And I believe the first few episodes we still call it "You Had to Be There"
in the intro.
or do you bleep it?
I should go back and re-edit them. But going forward, so we released another episode today. And I recorded a new little intro at the beginning.
Just say like, hey, just so you know, it ain't called this no more. But yeah. So anyway, it's out, and the show is, for the uninitiated, it's a show in which Jim Biederman and Jody Lennon quiz me on a significant point in history and culture, and that I was intimately involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we talk about how I was involved with CBGBs.
You were in the Eagles.
When I was in the Eagles, when I used to be son of Sam's dog walker. All things that I, would have been technically alive at the time. But, it's debatable.
Well, and then there's some the upcoming ones. I believe you were Betty Davis and Joan Crawford's sex slave.
Something like that. I don't know if those words were used or not, but that's the gist of it.
And you were involved in Studio 54.
Studio 54. A lot of people say it's the best podcast.
I've heard that.
And I feel bad saying that because, we also do this podcast. But I'm still going to say that's the best one. This is just the best in a different way.
Yeah. Totally different format.
Totally different format. Well, my sister, my sister Libby, who lives in Ohio, she has been listening to Dave Hill History Fluffer and is a big fan.
Nice.
And I don't believe that she listens to this podcast that I'm aware of. She may. I don't think so. But
it's hard to get family to listen to your podcast.
Yeah, it's even harder to get them to give you money. We need more Patreon subscribers so we can keep gas in the tank, as I like to say.
Yeah, especially we'll be putting up History Fluffer on Patreon first. So if you're a subscriber, you'll get episodes before anyone else.
A week
Well, this week I only put it up a few hours before.
Okay, still. But we're counting it.
Still early.
We're counting it. You get it ahead, and then you get the street cred of knowing what's up before everyone else.
We'll probably be tacking a bunch of shameless ads to the public iTunes version, but not on the Patreon one. We'll spare.
I hope we get shameless ads. Get some money rolling in. Get on that podcasting bandwagon.
Podcasting incident was started, I feel like, well before
the podcasting craze.
Boom. Yeah.
That's hard to say. Let's think about it.
2010,
I think.
That's that's before WTF blew up.
A lot of people say that if it weren't for Dave Hill's podcasting incident, WTF
wouldn't have.
Mark Maron never would have become the multi-million-dollar empire that it is today.
Have you been on that show?
I'm glad you asked. Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've been on WTF twice.
Whoa.
I was on, I believe, episode 63 very early on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on again sometime after that. I don't know when. So I did an episode at the Cat Ranch, and then I did a live episode another time. And I've not. I think I need to
hit him up.
No. I don't know if he would have him back. Let's be honest. He's had the president, Barack Obama on. He's had literally. He's had Keith Richards on,
mm-hmm.
Elvis Costello. And I feel like I'm not being really self-deprecating here when I say this, but I feel like there's a bit of a drop from any of those people to me.
Well, you got a new book coming out.
I do have a new book coming out. I'm hoping. I don't know. I'm hoping that there's a media blitz about my new book.
There needs to be some kind of controversy. You need to do something shameful.
I don't want to.
But that's the only way, isn't it? I either have to get
just start
ill,
stealing someone's material,
do something terrible, become terribly ill, or I think there's the only two things that will get you attention these days, or do something, have a sitcom.
Yeah, or you should marry someone famous.
I'm thinking about it. Who could I?
You just met Demi Moore, right?
I did meet Demi Moore. She was a delight, I have to say. Did I already say that on this podcast?
We talked about
that. She was a delight. I was a little... It's rare that I get sort of like, oh shit, I don't know what's this is going to be like. And sometimes I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I can handle this. And she was one of those people where I was like, she's gonna eat me for lunch. Demi Moore. But she was a delight. She came in, we hit it off right away, I like to say, because she was wearing this suit that looked to me like Vivienne Westwood. So I said, hey, Demi, is that a Vivienne Westwood suit, or am I out of my mind? And she said, it does look like Vivienne Westwood, but it started with a P, I think. But it was great. It was a great plaid, very interestingly tailored, and she was a delight and beautiful.
Yeah.
And, if she's listening, get in touch.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can make it work in the long haul,
She probably lives in LA.
Yeah. And like somewhere else, probably like Montana, I think, or something.
I think I have an idea for our next podcast.
What? Get
Dave hitched
to Demi
Moore.
I bet we could have like a fun few weeks together, and then it would go south. It would just be like, oh man, this isn't working. And I would just be like, babe, we tried. We tried.
Yeah.
Let's not beat ourselves up about this.
You'll always have the podcast ratings.
Yeah. Maybe that should be the new podcast we start, is where I'm just relentlessly pursuing Demi Moore. I could do a lot worse, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
She is a delight.
Is it surreal when you meet someone like that you've met a lot of famous people?
I have.
But is it still surreal? Like when you walk into a room and it's Demi Moore?
I was already in the room and she walked in.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh shit. It's the last thing I need. But we very quickly...
Because you met Trump, right?
I've met Trump a couple times.
Oh my God.
I met him in 2003, maybe, or 4.
Mm-hmm. Peak Apprentice.
Yeah, like Trump. Right when The Apprentice started. And then I met him, maybe I talked about this already, but I was hired by VH1, was putting like a clip show together where it was like people on the red carpet, and it was like crazy red carpet moments. So they wanted like stuff going wrong on the red carpet, or like just weird shit to happen. So this producer sent me to like basically be weird to celebrities on the red carpet for the NBC upfronts at Lincoln Center. So they sent me to just make them uncomfortable and do, I was talking to like Ryan O'Neal, and I put the microphone, like I kept putting it really close to his face. And then he was like, could you stop? And he like pushed it away.
Oh my God.
I didn't hit him with it.
Yeah.
But he sort of was like, what the hell? But that was exactly what they had hired me for. They were
right.
like, come on.
Did they agree to pay any legal fees that resulted from...
I don't even know if I got paid, period. If I remember. I can't remember. I was a young buck willing to do anything to try to make a splash in the big city. So, yeah, I met Trump that day, and, he was talking. He's like, yeah, I have a TV show called The Apprentice. And this, to show you how times have changed, I couldn't fathom that he had a TV show. Because I was like, who the fuck would give him a TV show?
Yeah.
So I was like, genuinely, like, who's on the show? And he said, I'm on the show. And I was like, you're on camera? And he was like, yeah, it's my show. And I truly was like, what?
Yeah.
Who the fuck would give you a show, you fucking idiot? And here we are.
Did he get offended?
I didn't say that last part, but I was genuinely like, what? You're on the show.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's my show. He was getting, understandably a little irritated.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, yeah, sometimes Demi Moore, when she walked in, I was a little like, oh my God, Demi Moore. Who else? Who else have I met?
Lupita Nyong'o?
I did meet Lupita Nyong'o, but this is embarrassing. I'm not kidding when I say I did not know who she was. And I was told that I should definitely know who she was because she's a big star, but I genuinely did not recognize her.
Yeah.
Was not familiar with her in any way. But that's because I was told, like, oh, this is, fancy big star that's coming in here, but I didn't.
Yeah.
You could tell, like, because she was stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her makeup person, they were saying, gets like $4,000 or $5,000 a shoot.
Oh my God.
But worth every penny because she looked incredible.
Yeah.
She didn't say that. This was gossip.
Uh-huh.
So cannot confirm.
It'd be weird if she was bragging about that.
She was not saying no, but she was, radiantly beautiful. Probably didn't need any makeup. Mm-hmm. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
But no, when she walked in, you're like, well, this is not this is a star I'm dealing with here. It was very clear.
Yeah.
But that being said, I did not know who she was. And that's just because I'm in my own little world much of the time. I'm watching heavy metal videos on YouTube most of the time.
I just saw Us, which she stars in.
She's in Us?
Yeah.
I'm going to see that.
It's amazing.
Who else is in it?
She's really the only person Tim Heidecker's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Moss.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Heidecker's great.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was really excited
He's
to
a funny
see him
guy.
in that.
Nice. I'm just telling everyone to watch Letterkenny.
Yeah, which I started,
show.
And I love it.
It's the best show. I would say, without question, the best comedy of the last 10 years.
Strong words.
Well, full-on comedy. Mm-hmm. So I'm not counting sort of like dramedies. But in terms of actual full-on comedies, it kicks the shit out of any other contemporary comedy I can think of.
It's great.
Kicks it up and down the field.
I've been really into At Home with Amy Sedaris.
That's a great show. I should say I also love that, because I do. That's a great show. But they're very different. They're both absurd.
Yeah.
Should we close with one last reading?
Yeah, please.
Let's close with another passage from...
I think we should make that a benefit of...
Of History Fluffer?
Yeah. $100.
$100.
And you'll get everything else below. So a couple t-shirts, patch, sticker.
Okay, this is The Llama from Barnyard Animals of Note. Oh, Down on the Farm, Barnyard Animals of Note. Currently enjoying a rise in popularity on the petting zoo circuit due to its low cost and natural affinity for the carnival atmosphere. The llama is a close relative of the camel, friend of Michael Jackson, and is even considered sacred in some cultures. Personally, I don't see what all the fuss is about. Unless you've got a handful of food to offer it, the llama is just as likely to completely ignore you as it is to spit right in your face. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure how this guy even got in here in the first place.
I like how your writing style is very similar.
It hasn't really progressed. I mean, this is 20 years ago. Thank you, Chris, for bringing the brains behind the operation.
More than happy to. All right.
We did it.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And there you have it, my delightful conversation with my partner in crime, Mr. Chris Gersbeck from Parts Unknown. It's his birthday. Wish him a happy birthday. It's coming fast and hard. Or maybe it already happened. I should pin down the exact date. Anyway, you have your marching orders. Go subscribe to Dave Hill History Fluffer. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast, could you do that too? Wouldn't kill you. And support us on patreon.com. Patreon.com/Dave Hill. Lots of incredible prizes, gifts, bonuses, whatever you want to call them, for your undying love and cold hard cash. Until next time, I've been Dave Hill. It wouldn't kill me to shower. All right. Thanks a lot.